What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. We all want to do worthwhile things. None of us dream to be losers. We all have the same goals, similar goals. We all want to win. We all want freedom. We all want financial liberty. What most of us are not willing to do, though, is sign up for the uneven trade that success requires. And I'll state my suggestion in a concise statement, and we can explore further. But the way that I see facts is this. Anything you do in life that's worth doing takes more from you than it gives you. So if you pursue anything and think you're going to extract more from it than you put in, I got some bad news for you. You can't cheat your way out of this very fact, which I think is almost a law of nature. Now, there's greater benefits over time, and benefits you cannot measure, benefits to your physiology, and some are more intrinsic, but let's focus on the matter first with some examples. I was sitting over the last couple of days ordering hundreds of dollars worth of things because of Prime Day. Thanks, Amazon. You know, spaving, spending to save, getting 2 extra protein shake buckets and $150 of electrolytes. Craziness in a sense, but the things I use, so justified, I guess, to save money on something that I will reap the benefits back over time, the savings over time with. Some things are like that. You got to do the upfront work or take the upfront hit and you earn back the benefits slowly over time. Like an hour that I spent to cut up 9 pounds of chicken is an hour spent. But now, over the next 9 days, I earn back and I get back all that time that I would have had to spend each day. Not to mention get messy and use the same tools again and be as unoptimized as possible. But whatever, that's maybe a point for another episode. We'll call it batch to benefits. But to get back to the thoughts I was having while I was spending money, the first was how easy it was to spend it. Like I probably sat and spent $500 with a few clicks of a button. Really, the work was making the decision and being satisfied with the options I was picking to purchase. The actual spending of the money took no effort at all. That's part of the psychology behind how we spend more money on credit cards than if you physically spend cash, because spending cash sends more of a pain signal to your brain than spending digits that you don't register in your brain. The next thought I really had was, if spending money is this easy, why isn't making money just as easy? Why can't I click a few buttons and make $500? And there's ways that you can, I guess, but different conversation, which brought me to this point. It always costs more in time, energy, resources, effort to make something than to expend it, to spend it, to dispense of it. It takes very little effort to do that, to spend it. Which only brought my mind to many other examples of life where this plays out. It takes an hour to cook and clean up and takes 15 minutes to eat that food. I spend anywhere between 8 to 12 hours of my life a week in the gym. What it gives back to me is probably unmeasurable, but consciously, where I register it, it's only a few glances in the mirror that I get to appreciate myself, or then I just go on about my day. It's not like I'm sitting here conscious of what it gives back to me all the time. Like I'm typing this and I'm not like, oh my God, I have muscles. It's just whatever. Many things in life are like that. What it takes from you is much more than what you feel like it gives you. It takes years to build relationships. It takes minutes to end them if the scenario is right and the iron is hot enough. Building a family is rarely a selfish pursuit. Now, maybe you can start off like that. And we all know parents who have kids as a way to live out their life that they never got to live. But eventually, what being part of the family, what building a family demands from you is way more than any idea you could have ever had for it going into it. Almost everything worthwhile in life, you have this enormous amount of work to do for, upfront and continuous. And that goes into building and maintaining it. What it gives you will pale in comparison to the work you put in. Now you can look at this fact and say, like most people do, that you are not up for this trade, that you need to get yours just as much as you give. You need that trade to be even. And I'll tell you that I think that this is not even possible outside of very small and constricting scenarios that lead you down half the person you could have been. Because we all ultimately have to accept this fact if you want to do anything outside of just where you are today and expand yourself. Which brings me to how I conclude with this in my own brain. Knowing that I have to be willing to put up with this fact and have to be willing to let myself pour into something that I cannot even look for to fill me back up. Which points to only one thing for me: to make sure that I'm doing that for something worth doing it for. Or else, if the thing I am pouring into that takes from me way more than it gives me, if that thing is not worthy of the sacrifice, if it does not honor my human spirit and its devotion and its life force by being worthwhile, then I'm going to become resentful and will resort to the same hedonistic outlook in which I will try to also ensure that I get mine in equal amounts that I give. You can only pour yourself into something that your spirit truly believes is worth being spent into. If there's any conflict, you haven't done the work to figure out what allows for this to be the case. You might either then stifle your spirit or compromise your character. You have to make sure the uneven trade you are signing up for is actually worthwhile. Because at any meaningful turn, there will be an uneven trade and a decision pending. Are you willing to give more, take less, or are you going to be short-sighted and you must have your even exchanges that will pay less, matter less? But if less is blessed for you, who am I to say, trade up? I love you, family. Stay true always. I'll see you on the next show.